Welcome, gods and goddesses, creators, to All Things Spirituality with yours truly, Maria Palomino, a sacred sanctuary that speaks the unspeakable and lets you in on the secrets of spiritual awakening. Introducing self-discovery, soul awakening tools that helps you remember your soul's true purpose to start manifesting a conscious reality. Every soul is unique, meaning no spiritual path is the same. Feel every conversation and let your mind, body, and soul guide you to what is unique to only you. It is the soul's resonance of remembrance. Now, take a deep breath, drop into your heart, and let us begin, beautiful souls creators. Hello, beautiful souls. In this episode, I share my 3 weeks experience with the oldest recorded detox that's part of Ayurveda, known as Panchakarma. I go into why detox is important on the path of spirituality and aligning mind, body, and spirit, and explain why I wanted to detox in the first place and why I chose Panchakarma, and share all about my stay at One World Ayurveda, a luxurious boutique Panchakarma center in the middle of the rice fields in Bali. From the doctors, service, massages, food, opening and closing ceremonies, the views, the rooms, the yoga, the rice field walks, and so much more that's catered to a complete conscious detox. Sit on tight to learn about one of the oldest natural systems of medicine originating in India more than 3,000 years ago and its famous detox Panchakarma. To learn more about Ayurveda and your personal body elemental composition known as dosha, go on the description to take your dosha-free quiz and find out if you're more air, fire, or earth, known as Vata, Pitta, or Kapha dosha. It is fascinating how it will bring light to why certain foods or diets didn't go with your body before and what direction to take. Check it out. Now, let's begin, beautiful souls, and don't forget to follow us to receive your latest dose of heart-opening medicine. Welcome, gods and goddesses, to another episode of All Things Spirituality. Today, we're going to be talking about my 3 weeks experience and an Ayurveda detoxification center known as Panchakarma. So what I'm going to do is talk about why detoxification is so important for spirituality, why it's a must, and why I decided to do a Panchakarma detox as opposed to many other detoxes that are out in the field, and why I chose One World Ayurveda, and go into my experience of everything that happened during those 3 weeks at One World Ayurveda, and give you some tips of what to do, what not to do, if you do decide to do a heavy detox known as Panchakarma for Ayurveda. So first thing and most, why is a detox so important for spirituality? We're talking about aligning the mind, the body, and the spirit. So when we detox, we're able to clear our minds, and being able to clear our minds makes us have a much more lucid perspective. We have to remember that we are energy channels, otherwise known as conductors. So just like any other conductor, such as metal, such as water, depending on the type of conductor that your body is, the higher the energy, the higher the frequency you're going to be conducting. So basically, the cleaner your body is, the higher frequency that you can receive within your body. So that is key. Just understanding energy is so important, how we are basically batteries that we're running around. Our body is 70% water. So keeping that into consideration, water is a conductor. We're 70% water. And also we have ions, sodium ions, potassium ions, chloride ions, making us very, very good conductor for electricity. And just like the Earth is also 70% water, also an amazing conductor, which is why we have the magnetic field and magnetic force around the Earth, which we have as well. So that's very important to understand energy and spirituality, and cleaning our body, cleaning ourselves from any toxicity is going to allow us to have more higher frequency and be able to channel much, much, much more energy that's coming in from higher frequencies, from higher source. The other reasons, of course, for spirituality is making sure we get rid of all the heavy metals that are in our bodies, any inflammation, literally any dis-ease, separating the words. When there's no ease in your body, that means your body is not in equilibrium. What your body is trying to do, the intelligence, is just trying to always bringing into harmony, trying to make sure everything comes back into a nice equilibrium phase, to be able to receive and rejuvenate, regenerate, and balance our body. And as we let go of cells that no longer serve us, that have been there for a long time, cells carry memory. Remember that energy is consciousness. Consciousness has a story, it has memory. And in our cells, we have energy known as ATP, which is what stores energy and also moves energy around. So as we're letting go of those energy cells, when we do a very deep detox, we're letting go of those memories that we've been holding on to for a long time, which is why for many people, and a lot of us that go through deep detoxifications, it's very emotional. A lot of thoughts, a lot of memories come up. Sometimes they're very painful, sometimes they're very happy as well. But it's time to let go. Every 7 years, we literally regenerate a whole new body, complete different cells. We're just giving it a little kickstart here with detoxification, especially if we don't keep it up yearly or we're being conscious of what we're putting into our body. And many traditions, they have the dietas, they have their own diets, whether they do an herb diet, maybe just taking different types of teas to connect with the herb, or plant medicine types of diets before people do it. When they do it sacredly, they also do a dieta, because we're trying to get our body into a very high frequency clean mode. That way, when you're in that state, to be able to receive higher frequency is much more lighter, and the experience is much more spiritual and it's much more pleasant, as opposed to being dense where we're still holding on to a lot of dark memories that we have yet to pass. So everything's a cycle, everything's a phase. This is why it's so important to detox. Just let go of the old stories. First, what's real important to, I do want to point this out, is that as we're clearing up our stories, first we do it mentally. We make a decision and we say, okay, we're done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done with the story from my life. And then we do it emotionally. So we feel it in our bodies, we let go of it. And last, it's physical. Mentally, that frequency runs so high, we do it literally in speed of light once we make up our minds. And emotionally, it takes a little bit longer. So first your brain gets it, and then it starts settling in into all your emotions. That's like your soul level. And then lastly, the most stubborn one, because it's much denser energy, it's our physical body now has to accept it and say, okay, now we let go. And for that, we do need to give it a little push, give it a little help, which is why dieting is so important. Why did I want to do a detox in Ayurveda? On the episode before, we talked to Dr. Nino. He explained what Ayurveda was, and a little bit about Panchakarma. And Ayurveda is a beautiful old, or more than 5,000 years old lifestyle that is based on the five elements, just the elements and the circadian rhythm, the natural seasons with the earth, with nature. And that to me is very attractive because we are nature. We are the nutrients. We are the plants. We are the animals. We are made out of the stars. So I really like how this more than 5,000-year-old discipline that has been written down in the Vedas, the old scripts, one of the oldest scriptures that we have here on earth, have been passed on. And it's something that is proven, it's scientifically proven. There's universities of Ayurveda. And to me, that was really attractive. And also because I've been doing a lot of diets in the past, like intermittent diet. And I've noticed that the longer I did it and became a lifestyle, it was starting to hinder my well-being. And since I didn't understand what kind of dosha I was, what were my dominant elements that I'm composed of. So you have fire, air, water. What am I missing one? Of the four elements, actually five, and ether as well. So all the five elements that are being composed, like what are you made out of the most? And mine is mostly fire, and second is air. So I'm more pitta, and the second one is vata, with a very little bit of dosha, of kapha dosha. And what I found out is that my body was becoming so acidic. And then when I went to this Panchakarma retreat center, it was because for pitta dosha, someone that has a lot of fire already built in their system, that's the worst thing that you can do, especially long term. Only kapha doshas that are more earthy are able to really handle long term intermittent fasting. Plus, I wanted to do a detox because I've been traveling so much. I think I've been spending only maybe 3 weeks at my place back in California, and then traveling. The last 6 months has been a lot of going to Egypt, back to Mexico, Egypt, Mexico, and with some between time back home, because I do love where I live. Very, very grateful that I love coming home. It's always going back to paradise, going back to vacation. So really, I'm grateful for that. And what I like about Panchakarma and everyone that I talked about in Ayurveda is that it's sustainable. It's something, it's a lifestyle, and it's gentle. You can ease to it. There's so many diets where maybe you do a keto diet or, the Atkins diets. And I've done it, especially back in the days when I used to go to Vegas all the time. And no carbs, no sugars, no salt, and very, very strict with my diet. And yeah, it works. All of a sudden you shrink up. And I'm like, wow, it looks amazing. All the muscle definition is can be seen right away. But however, it's just momentarily. So yeah, if you're getting married, you're gonna do a photo shoot, great, do it. Don't hold back. But if we're talking about a lifestyle that we're gonna do long term, this is what Panchakarma came in for me. And I wanted to try it because I personally did need some hand holding. I feel like we all had some type of addictions, and for me, I had cravings that weren't healthy. There were a lot of white sugar, a lot of white carbs. So those were my guilty pleasures for me. So everyone has their own. So see what finds you. So I decided to go to One World Ayurveda, and it's a center in the middle of the rice fields in Ubud, the magical Hindu island, where you go to heal. It just has that energy where it would literally open your heart. And for everyone, it comes in many different shapes and forms. And this is why I keep coming back to Bali. And I'm here actually for 3 months this time. And let me tell you about the process. When you check in, the first thing you do is go see the doctor. They're checking your pulse, making sure that you're okay. They put you in a regimen, but you start with an opening ceremony, and you go into the temple. Just about every home here in Bali, they have their Hindu temple. So They dress you up, you're all in white. So you're consciously dropping into your heart, knowing that you're doing something sacred. So they're taking this stay of cleansing. And what I love about Ayurveda that's very well aligned with all things spirituality is that we're really focusing not just on the body, but on the mind, body, and spirit, bringing everything into alignment. So you do this opening ritual ceremony at the temple, and you're putting in your intentions. You're dropping into your heart for however long your stay is going to be. For me, it was 3 weeks. And be very conscious about what you're releasing throughout those 3 weeks. So they give you everything. So they show. Let me talk about the accommodation. You walk in, they show you your room, beautiful jungle views, everything just like a 5-star hotel. White linen sheets. Everything's very clean. Your shower can be outdoors or inside. Very well equipped, and there's even a down service that they come in. So, and they even give you a journal, and they give you a lot of coloring paper, mantra sketches that you can color into, because they want you to get out of the day-to-day hustle and bustle routine and want you to write. They want you to draw. They want you to paint. They want you to sketch. But this is all for you. So now we're using the right side of our brain, the creative side of our brain. So that alone, it's incredible. You go to the doctor the first day, and the first thing he does is he's checking your pulse, and he's just reading you. We just had you can listen to the podcast before with Dr. Ninu, and he's asking you a series of questions about your behaviors when you were younger towards food. What's your energy level time? What triggers you? What motivates you? How do you move around life? How have you understand? But then he's looking even at your hair, at your teeth, at your bone structure. So he's seen thousands of patients come in and out. So based on that, he determines your dosha. And like I said, I was dominant Pitta, which is fire. Secondary, it was Vata, which is air. And third was Kapha. So all of us have all 3 doshas in our body because we're made out of the elements. And just about how everyone has their unique portion of how much of those elements they have. Obviously, earth is also there, ether is also there. All 5 elements are included, which I love. After we do the training, which I love with the doctor, we do 2 treatments every single day, and the treatments are amazing. There's different type of massages, there's different type of scrubs. There's steam baths. There are copper tubs that you can come into. There's also wooden steam baths. So there's 3 different types of bath that you can take. But the doctor is the one that indicates what type of treatment you're going to get based on not only your goals of what you want to achieve during this 3 weeks or however long you want to stay during your detox, but also on your dosha. So for me, I went there because, like I said, I have cravings, and I know I had some dependency issues with food, and I really needed some hand holding. So I wanted to make sure I ate clean and wanted to see what it would feel like when I actually ate clean for all 3 weeks. Because even if I try to eat clean back home in California, it's hard. There's always something that doesn't suit my body, or it's just hard to find, to just kind of give in. And like I said, I've been traveling so much, it's not hard. Even in Egypt, even though we had a vegan diet while we were there, because we were also doing spiritual work and doing some very intense work and alignments and the pyramids and the temples along the Nile, it still wasn't completely clean. It was just hard to find. And I've always wanted to feel like, how would I feel like? So what they do is they start you off with giving you concoctions with every meal, depending on what you're doing. Maybe you don't get it in every meal. Maybe you get it every other meal. So it's this concoction of all these different herbs. And I felt like I had 2 different types of blends, sometimes for lunch, sometimes for dinner, sometimes I would get it for breakfast, sometimes I wouldn't. So the first days that you're there, depending on how long you're staying, you're prepping. your body is prepping with the food, with the herbal concoctions, and also all the treatments that you're getting, the scrub, the skin is the largest organ that we have for the actual days of the detox. So the Panchakarma is the actual days where you are detoxing, whether they give you a laxative, whether you're purging it, or through an enema, like a colonics. And they also have another kind that are less invasive, and I feel like everyone gets it, where they do they put oil drops up your nose, and then they push it up even more with some incense, with some type of smoke to clear up your whole chest and clear up your head. And then the last one that they had is, especially for people that have skin conditions such as rosacea, they would actually put some type of animal on you. I think they're called leech. And I've seen videos, I didn't have to get it, where it literally sucks out the blood that's there. And I was just surprised how many people are so open to do it. And it works. I've seen it work. There were 2 girls that were there that did it. And I saw their pre and post. And it really does work. So just be open to this. When you're doing a detox, you're going to be purging. You're going to be taking laxatives. So you're in the bathroom the whole time. Not the whole time, depending. It can be for a couple of hours. Or you can be purging it as well. So purging, laxative, or an enema. And it's not like a colonics. Colonics have become very popular, especially in the U.S. and in other centers that I've seen, and even in Costa Rica. But this is a blend of oils and the enema that's specific for your dosha. And this is what I really like, because here you have the doctors, and this center just specializes on Ayurveda and detox, and they have all these different blends that they put into you. And they do a little test run before, just to make sure that you don't have any type of allergies or reaction. So a very small amount of portion before they put in a full enema per day. So the first days that you're going, your body is prepping. And then whether it's the 3rd day, the 4th day, or the 5th day, depending on how long you're staying. So the longer you stay, the longer your prep is. And why that is good, that means is once you're ready to get the actual detox, all those herbs or however you're going to detox is going to go much, much deeper, because you've prepped your body beforehand with all the massages, with the food, with the herbs. So then all of that can come out. So then after the actual detox day, you don't have dinner that night. I'm sorry, you do have dinner the night, it's khichdi. You don't necessarily have lunch or breakfast because you are fasting. And then the 2nd, 3rd day, you go back to your regular treatment days. They keep you busy all day. And then you do another panchakarma, an actual detox. And the doctor will decide if you get another enema, another purging, depending on what it is. And every time you do an actual panchakarma, another detox, you go much deeper and deeper and deeper. So that's why there were some people that were there for only 7 days. And then as they learned about the program, they decided to go for another week. I personally actually went in for 2 weeks, and then I decided to stay another week. And one person said, well, I live here in Bali. I'm not too far away. I was thinking of just coming back for another 10 days, but it doesn't make sense because that would mean that you'd have to start from the beginning when you come back. You're already there. You've done the prep, and each detox day, you go deeper and deeper and deeper. So if you've already done 2 weeks, and you've had 3 detoxes, 3 actual panchakarma days, then you're just adding more. So you're picking up into the depth of your detox wherever you left off during that time. So I highly recommend they recommend to at least do 7 to 10 days. Let's talk about the food. Oh my God. The food is such a highlight. You're going to love all the meals. An Ayurveda meal consists of nothing being cold. Everything is warm. Everything is organic. Everything is local. Everything is prepared the same day. So you're not eating any types of leftovers. And that is key with any type of detox, with any type of diet. You want it to be fresh. And it's so yummy. Ayurveda diet doesn't necessarily mean that you don't eat any type of animal products. You actually can. However, when you're doing an Ayurvedic detox for Panchakarma, they do not serve any type of animal products. Not animal products. They do serve ghee. They cook with a lot of ghee, which is clarified butter. But they also have the options if you're vegan like myself, where A, I don't like ghee, and B, I'm vegan, so I don't want to take it. They made it not only gluten-free, but also vegan. So we use coconut oil instead. So to me, like, where am I going to get a place where I can stay for 3 weeks, where everything's fresh, where everything's organic, everything's local? It's vegan and it's gluten-free, and plus it's delicious. Everyone, I think, that buys the recipe book. I really miss their quinoa porridge in the morning. And you get a variety of food, from sushi, Mexican food, Asian, even barbecue sauces, a little bit of everything. And you even get to eat with your hands to really connect with the food. So then you're prepping. So your hands are opening up. So you're literally connecting with the food by touching it. And then your mouth starts salivating. It starts feeling it. So it's getting prep up, knowing that it's going to be nourished. So that's definitely a key with food and Ayurveda. I've heard that other Ayurvedic centers, Panchakarma centers, only serve the staple meal, which is khichdi, which is dal, lentils, and veggies all put together, which is very nourishing. That's actually what you get for the actual day of your detox. And this center, you do get khichdi, which I think is the best. I miss it. I'm going to try to stop by actually and get some khichdi from them before I leave. But any other types of meals, so it's very healthy. Let's talk about your day and your routine that you have when you're in a Panchakarma center. You start off and they make sure that you have a discipline. So the whole point is to allow you to build a lifestyle that you're going to take back once you leave the center. So there are some rules where you're not allowed to leave the property unless you go and do the walks around the rice paddies, which is in Tagalagan, which is the most picturesque, beautiful fields. So if you look up at Bali, that's one of the pictures that always come back. That's where the center is. No snacking, and that is so important for us. So you have to wait for your meals. They're coming in. You do get 3 meals a day. So even if you did want to mention this because my sister, I was talking to her, and she said, there's no way I can do it. It's only vegan or vegetarian. I started sending her all the pictures of my meals. She's like, oh my God, yes, I can do it. Yes, it's hearty food. It fills you up and you're going to be asking for seconds. So not allowed to leave the property unless you're there. You can't have visitors come in. No snacks. That's important. Otherwise, every time you're snacking, insulin is being released, and that means that your body isn't resting. You want your body to rest. No AC. We want to keep our body warm. When we're detoxing, we need to relax. As soon as you go into any type of cold water, it cools down your system, so it shuts down anything that's passing through, which is why when you get sick, you don't necessarily get cold. You get a fever or you have an inflammation because it's warm. So that's the same concept behind it. And then they only serve cold water and all kinds of teas throughout the time. So you're only allowed to do that. And you have your morning discipline. So you have to start up the morning. It starts time with some Tibetan bowls that they start playing outside the rooms. There are only 12 rooms. So it's a very, very boutique, 5-star boutique retreat center, which I love. But you start out by hearing the Tibetan bowls in the morning, and then you get to scrape your tongue, and then you rinse with coconut water, and you want to keep the coconut water in your mouth at least for 2 minutes as well. So with that, it's oil pulling. I don't know if you heard about oil pulling. It's so refreshing and it's so healing for your teeth and your gums. Once you discover oil pulling, you'll see, especially if you have bad teeth or gum problems, highly recommended look into oil pulling. Then you also do some exercises around your eyes, which I love because you really are opening up your intuition, I want to say, because you are also you're also exercising the muscles around your third eye, which we don't do. So you're building discipline every single day. So then you start off with meditation and yoga at 6:30 a.m. So that is your morning discipline that you do. So then you can take this back home. So maybe you take one thing out of everything. Maybe you do yoga 3 times a week if you didn't do any yoga. Maybe you start scraping your tongue every day. I think the most thing that I've heard from other people, and even the people that have already graduated from this center, is the tongue scraping has been life-changing, because since you're scraping the bacteria, because when we go to sleep, we are naturally detoxing, we're cleaning ourselves up. So all that residue is in our tongue. So you're taking all that white gunk out of it. And then you are pulling, you're doing coconut oil pulling. So then your taste buds start changing, and that really, really opens up different sensations and your experience with food going forward. Because when our system is so shut down, let's say you eat too much chili, you eat too much processed food, too much chips, and you're not really cleaning your tongue and your mouth properly, everything starts tasting the same and you're craving the same food. So this is key. If I can give you any pointers, definitely do the tongue scraping. I'm going to continue talking about it because it's that good. So they want to make sure that you do have rules just to help you get into that mode of receiving, of releasing. And if you want to do one day where it's just silent and it's just you, they even give you a nice little mandala necklace for you to wear. So people know if you're wearing that, then no one is talking to you. So it's just such a beautiful place, location, and everyone is so respectful. And the people that are going there are great because they're loving themselves. Self-care is self-love. They're loving themselves, and they really want to start paying attention to their body and listening to our body because it is always talking to us. They also have, in the Ayurveda center that I went to in One World Ayurveda, they have workshops where they give you education about Ayurveda. Dr. Ninu goes and talks to you about Ayurveda, all the different doshas, its history, and then talks about Panchakarma, the different types, and answers all your different questions. There are workshops on Bali, their history, its holidays, its traditions, its religions. We even got to make the offerings from scratch, first making the little baskets to go outside, and then putting in the flowers. But everything is a ritual. So it's nice to just be in one place where you're learning and also embracing the culture. And they even have a workshop, which is one of my favorites, on natural masks that you can put on your face. And it's so important because our largest organ in the body is our skin. So anything that you put on your skin, it's going to be absorbed. And one rule that Dr. Ninu brought up that I thought was great is, so what's good and what's not good. People are asking, to put on their skin, especially for us girls. We love buying all types of skin products. And he said, if you can eat it, then you can put it on your skin. And I think it's time to look at our drawers and our shelves because I know we have many products that we put on our skin that we would not eat. And I guess that goes into exception of putting on natural oils, 100% cold pressed natural oils like rose oils, cactus oils we put on our face. That's all natural. That's okay. So I thought that was great. And let me talk about just the location and bringing in more attention about the walks that they have around the center. It's in this beautiful small village. So there are guided walks, and every time we took different walks along different paths, and there's so many trails that you can go to, but you really get to meet the community, the people that are working there. We actually had a walk, and one of the girls that works in the center came with us, and we got to meet her mother-in-law who's working in the rice fields. She had her feet in the middle of the mud, just moving the water and the mud around for the next plantation of the rice, and saw her father from a distance, and he was taking a shower, which was great. And by the time we turned around, we actually saw him just in the main street. So I thought it was just beautiful. So just connecting with the culture, I think that's very, very important. And it takes you back to how things don't have to be so complicated. It can be simple, yet you are happy and you are fulfilled when you really get to spend time with people that are wholeheartedly and they're so present. It really opens you up. And they even have a silent room, which is an open room, and in the center, and it's a place where you could just take in all the gifts of nature. And there's usually an old 75, I think he's around 75 years old man, who is the owner of the property of the rice fields right underneath the center. And he's out there working every single day. And that's what keeps them young, because they are moving and they're out with nature, just grounding, which is why it's very, very important. So I did want to bring that up. Any tips that I will give you guys if you're going to go is, if you have any addiction, such as drinking a lot of alcohol or especially smoking, and the big one is if you have to have your coffee every single day, try to start doing it less and less until the day that you enter the center. That way it's not such a big shock and you're not struggling when you're in there. So it's a much easier flow, because there are a lot of people who need to have their coffee. And with many other diets, when you do in cleanses, coffee is just, it keeps you going and it's just too stressful. So we want to relax. So coffee's not allowed and they don't serve it. So just keep that in mind. That would be my biggest recommendation. Stop with all the sweets, all the sugar cravings. Little by little, start cutting it off. And then that way, you've already given it a little jump start to your detox. And think about starting just a whole new lifestyle. And it's so gentle that you can keep it up. Also with meats, if you eat a lot of meats, make sure you start decreasing, because you're not eating any type of meats once you're in there. But believe me, you're going to be full. You're going to be okay. Besides that, just keep in mind that the whole point of doing a panchakarma, a pure detox, is to be able to connect, especially for me, with much higher frequency, connect much with source, and be able to align mind, body, and spirit. So with Panchakarma, what I've taken out of it, my results have been that my cravings have decreased significantly. Granted, I was already vegan, but as far as eating less sugars, that has been a big, big plus. And for me, I'm highly, highly sensitive. By getting attacked and bitten by mosquitoes. And every day I would go, Dr. Neil, I'm like, when is this going to stop? And it literally has. It's not that I don't get bit, I still do, but it's much, much less. And the reactions are much lighter. So I'm very happy about that. And also when I went in the center, I had extremely, extremely low blood pressure. And I have noticed that my blood pressure is starting to go up. So everyone has different, we're all so unique. There's something different that you're working on. So I have seen it, and I'm keeping this up and being more cautious of maintaining, especially with the oil pulling, that I've picked up. I've known about it, but I wouldn't do it every day. And the reason why I wouldn't do it every day, because I was always doing intermittent fasting. And I knew if I put a carb in there, then I would break my fast. So now I do have breakfast, which I love. So I'm doing the oil pulling. I've always done the tongue scraping. So I'm continuing that as well. So just really good recommendations that you can pick up once you do a panchakarma and a deep, deep detox. Highly recommend it. So that is it. Love you all, gods and goddesses. Remember to stay in your power. You are the creator. You're the one that has power into what goes into your body. Your body is your temple. And really, it's true. You are what you eat. Just take that into consideration. Just remember that. So you have dead foods, you have foods that are alive. So just keep that in notion, and going to a center like a Panchakarma, it's very gentle, and which is why I did it. I love you all. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, beautiful souls, for listening. Don't forget to take your free Dosha Quest to discover your personal elemental composition and recommendation. Find out if you're air, fire, or earth, known as Vata, Pitta, or Kapha dosha. It is fascinating how it will bring light to why certain foods or diets didn't go with your body before and what direction to take. Check it out. Also, if you're inclined to leave a review, do take a screenshot to receive a 33% off any of our programs such as self-love, inner child healing, or receive an energy balancing healing. Email and website are below on the description. Namaste, beautiful gods and goddesses creators, and don't forget to subscribe to continue receiving your dose of heart-opening medicine. Light and love.